Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit BBQ. On today's video, we're going to be making up some Texas hot links. Stay tuned. All right, so let's go over the ingredients for our Texas hot links. I've got 14.2 pounds of beef and 19.6 pounds of pork. That's a total of 15,345 grams. I've got 169 grams of kosher salt, 107 grams of black pepper, 92 grams of garlic powder, 92 grams of onion powder, 38.36 grams of a pink curing salt, 92 grams of smoked paprika, and I gotta tell you, check out this brand right here, Spore Seasonings. I will be leaving a link inside the description box on where you guys can buy this smoked paprika, and I gotta tell you, it is way better than regular paprika. You can also get a really nice big bottle of the pink curing salt from Spore Seasonings. We're also gonna be using 46 grams of cayenne pepper. That's gonna give us a little bit of heat. Now, if you want it a little bit hotter, I would definitely add a little bit more of the cayenne pepper, but I don't want them too hot. 61 grams of mustard seed, or you can use a mustard powder as well. And then I'm using 153 grams of a non-fat dry milk powder. This is gonna be our binder. Now, as far as the liquid, you can use whatever you want. On this recipe, I'm gonna be using a Lone Star beer. All right, so as far as the meat that I'm gonna be using, I've got a ton of trim that I found in my deep freezer. I've got brisket trim. I've got some prime rib trim right here. Check that out. I've got some rib trimmings, leftover pork shoulder right here. So I'm gonna be using all of this trim to make these sausages. Just gonna take everything out of the packages. And by the way, check out these beautiful knives for meat. That's what I'm gonna be using to cut these. Whoa, this is super sharp. That's what I'm gonna be using to cut up all of this meat. Check this out, super sharp. Whew, man. Here's some rib trim, some prime rib trim. And some good old-fashioned brisket trim. All right, so I'm just gonna cut all this meat down into smaller cubes, just so they fit down the chute of your grinder, and I will bring you guys right back. All right, so I've got all the meat cut up. Now, one of the pork shoulder pieces that I had did have a bone in it, so I weighed it out. It weighed 9 grams. So I just grabbed 9 grams of bacon just to make it easy. So I'm gonna grind all this up. Got my foot pedal for my meat grinder right here. Now, I did have my grinder head inside the freezer overnight, so it is really nice and cold. It's very important to keep your meat cold anytime that you're making sausages. That way the meat doesn't smear on you. Just makes things a lot easier. And by the way, this meat was partially frozen as well. All right, so I'm gonna grind all this meat up, and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so I wanted to bring you guys back to show you this little pro tip right here. So I am at the end of my grind. Now, you still have a little bit of meat inside your grinder head right here. So I just got a cup of ice right here. I'm gonna dump that in there. Now, what the ice is gonna do is it's gonna push the rest of that meat through the grinder head right here. Here we go. Look at all that extra meat. And there we have it. All right, so I've got my mixer hooked up to my grinder. I'm just gonna load up all of this meat. Remember, I said this is ice cold, so there's no need to pop this back inside your freezer. This is a 50-pound mixer, and we have about 33 pounds of meat right now, so this is perfect. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add all of my ingredients. Here's our dry milk powder. I'm also gonna add some crushed ice, just to keep everything ice cold. It's about a cup and a half. I'm gonna add 1 Lone Star beer. I'm gonna start mixing it up. All right, so our meat is nice and tacky, and I ended up using 3 beers. Check that out. Really nice and tacky, and that's what you want. So I did tip the mixer over. If I turn on the grinder, the meat should slip right out. Check this out. Now all you gotta do is reach in here, get the little pieces. All right, so I'm gonna grab some of this sausage mixture, fry it up, make sure the seasoning is okay. I'm gonna place this in my fridge for about 30 minutes, and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so I've got the patty fried up. It's got a really nice red color. Let's see how we did. Look at that color. So this is super tasty. Have a little bit of heat coming from that cayenne pepper, but I gotta tell you that smoked paprika is giving it some really nice color and some delicious flavors. This is ready. So these Texas hot links that I'm making on today's video are a very popular item out in East Texas. They're not always hot, but some can be. So I'm gonna get my stuffer ready and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so I've got my stuffing canister straight out of the freezer. Time to load it up. Now when you're loading this, you want to try to remove any air pockets, okay? So stuff it down in there and pack it in really nice and tight, removing any air pockets, and do the same thing for the next layer. Pack it in there. All right, so I've got my 15-pound container filled up. Let's load it up on our stuffer. Lower down that piston. Just like that. Load up the horn. I like to spray a little bit of avocado oil on my horn, just like this. All right, turn that handle. Get your mixture to the tip of your horn. Got my casings here that have been in warm water for about an hour now. Just find the end. Sometimes this can get a little tricky. Just like that. Stick a couple of fingers in there. Pick up some of this warm water just to flush out the casing. And the water actually helps get the casing on your horn as well. Tie a knot at the end. All right, and start stuffing. Beautiful red color. All right, so I'm going to stuff these casings up, and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so I've got all the casings stuffed up. Now, if you do have some air pockets, just grab yourself a sausage picker and pop those little air pockets. Pretty simple process. All right, so I'm going to make these Texas hot links 7 inches long. And I do have my tray marked at 7 inches right here. So measure out 7 inches, real simple process. Pinch, measure another 7 inches, pinch right here, and then just twirl your casing just like that until it's nice and tight. Usually a couple of twirls is all you need. 7 inches, pinch, 7 inches, pinch, and twirl. All right, I got a ton of sausages to twist up. I'm gonna pop them in my fridge for about 2 hours. Let the casings get nice and dry. Then I'm gonna fire up my Bison 1,000 gallon smoker. I'm gonna cold smoke them at 150 degrees. Stay tuned. All right, so 3 hours of rest in my fridge. I've got my smoker running at 150 degrees. Time to load up these sausages. Check these out. Really nice color. All right, so let's load up the sausages here. And I've got a ton of them. So I'm just gonna spread them out evenly. Got plenty of room in my Bison 1,000 gallon smoker. All right, so I'm gonna finish loading up the sausages and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so I've got the sausages loaded up. We're running at 150 degrees. I'm gonna let this run for 2 hours. At that point, we'll bring you guys back. I'm gonna take a look at the sausages. And at that point, we're probably gonna crank up the temperature to 170 degrees. Stay tuned. All right, so 2 hours into our cook, I do wanna mention that I am using Gourmet Wood Products Post Oak for this cook. And these splits are the perfect size to maintain your pit at that low 150 degrees. I'm adding about one every 45 minutes or so. And again, my pit has been holding steady at 150 degrees. So let's take a look at these sausages. Oh yes, check out that beautiful red color. So these sausages have a really nice red color, exactly what a Texas hot link should look like. So I'm gonna crank the temperature up to 160 degrees, let that go for about an hour. Then on the 4th hour, I'm gonna crank it up to 175 degrees. At that point, it shouldn't take very long to get an internal temperature of 145 degrees. Stay tuned. All right, so it's been 4 hours and our sausages have hit 147 degrees, which is perfect. And here we go. Check out that nice red color. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take these inside. Once I'm inside, I'm gonna pour the ice cold water over the sausages. So we will see you guys inside. Stay tuned. All right, so I ran the sausages under cold water just to cool them off. I'm gonna add some ice. I'm also gonna fill this up with water to chill these down. So after these sausages cool down for about 30 minutes, I'm gonna grab a few of these, toss them back inside my smoker that's running at 275 degrees, and cook them up, get them nice and warm on the inside. I know this is a very common question, but you gotta trust the process. We'll bring you guys back in a minute. All right, so the Texas hot link sausages are ready. The total cook time at 275 was only 30 minutes, again, after the sausages cooled down in that ice water. So let's cut into one of these bad boys. I'm thinking we cut into this big boy right here. Look at this. Super girthy, nice and red. That is a Texas hot link right there. Check out how firm these sausages are. Super bouncy. All right, that's enough basketball. Let's slice into this bad boy. Oh my goodness. Perfect texture. Look at that. Nice and juicy. I am squeezing it a little bit. Oh yes. Man, this knife for meat is super sharp. Man, look at that. That is absolutely perfect. Got a good amount of pepper. You got that mustard seed in there, and it's nice and juicy. Let's give this bad boy a try. All right, let's give this Texas hot link a try and see how we did. Look at that beauty. Man, that spice level and that smoke level is absolutely perfect. So I told myself I wouldn't say this, but this is the best darn sausage I've ever made. I know that you guys have heard me say that several times, but this Texas hot link is very special. So I always ask myself when I make a sausage, what would I do different? And I gotta tell you, I wouldn't change anything on this Texas hot link. It's that good. I hope you guys enjoyed this Texas hot link sausage video. If this is the first time to my channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Until next time, Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit BBQ. See ya.